this lesson, I'd like to look at the way in which Sage CRM works with multiple languages and translations. As you can see that I'm currently looking at a screen which indicates that Sage CRM works with double byte character sets, and in fact it's localized into a number of different languages by default. And if I switch over here, I can log on as a user who's a French user. You can see that my opening screen is logged on. I'm going to log on actually as a person called Jean Bertrand. And in my system we can see that the complete interface, user interface, has been translated into French. It's the system administrator that controls the language for the user, and if I switch over into the system administration screens for the user, you can see that I've currently come to a position in the system administration screens, which is inside administration users. I've searched for the users, and here's Hans Muller. Currently he's set up to use the UK English interface, but I'm going to switch that over to use the German interface, and I'm going to choose Save. Now I'll log on as Hans Muller on my machine. You can see at the moment the main interface is displayed for him using an English interface, but notice how I can change up in the address bar and enter in a code to allow him to work with the German initial logon screen translations. I'll mention in a moment where those translations are found, but if I now log on as Hans Muller, we'll see that his translation has been changed to use German as the main translation set for his screen. If there are any translations missing, if there had been translations missing from the German translation, then it would have fallen back to the default language for the system, and that's set within the system, within the administration screens, as you can see underneath administration, system, system behavior, and you'll need to look for the default language, which in my case is set to be US English. So the default language is used to provide translations for any missing translations from a particular language set. Now, I indicated earlier on that Hans Muller, when he had logged in and logged out, is presented with a particular interface, and we can control the initial screen in any shortcuts that we provide, any hyperlinks that we provide within our internal systems to the Sage CRM screen. We can determine the initial language of the logon screen by a flag on the URL used. This flag is picked up and picks up translations which are inside this file, the logon translations txt file, which is held outside of the system. All other translations for the main interface come from inside CRM, but the logon screen translations come from this file, the logon translations.txt file. You'd have to be very careful in any editing that you do for that file. Now, back in here, I can log on as a system administrator to a system, and I can go to customization, and I can go to translations, and I can add a new language of my own if I need to. And the reason that I might want to do this is that I might want to have a set of departmental translations which are different from another part of the organization. After all, different business terminology might be used. So in some parts of the organization, they might use the phrase organization, whereas the other parts of the organization might use the word company, or continuing business versus opportunity, or CSR for a user even. So we've got different terminology that can be used, and we might want to add our own language. And here I'm going to add a language code for the sales language, and I'm going to call this sales and sales. I'll choose save. In a subsequent lesson, we'll be looking at the process by which we can add different translations into the system, but you can see that it's not difficult at all to be able to start adding in new structures of our own that can be used to improve the user experience. And so a new language has been added in. If I refresh that, and if I look at any particular code within the system, you can see that I now have my new language in here, and that if I click on edit, I can start to change and add in the translations that I want to. As I said, if there is ever a translation that is missing from an install of CRM, the language that is used is the default language for the implementation of Sage CRM. So that looks at the way in which we can work with multiple languages inside Sage CRM, and subsequent lessons will look at the way in which we can change the captions for any of the prompts that you see inside the screens.